हरे राम हरे राम। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे राम राम हरे राम राम नमः ओम विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण कृष्ण भूतम हरे कृष्ण राम राम
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे
हरे राम
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण
हरे राम
कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
कृष्ण हरे हरे
कृष्ण हरे राम राम
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण
राम हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण 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 राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण
हरे
राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम कृष्ण राम हरे कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
हरे राम
मम नाम सुमति क्षमा करोतु अवरुद्ध वसमृज्यपा वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. We have Prabhupada quote. The art of focusing one's attention on the Supreme and giving one's love to Him is called Krishna consciousness. A Krishna book preface.
Hare Krishna. One's greatness has to be estimated by one's ability to tolerate provoking situations. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We have Sadhak Seva announcement text. Sadhak Seva means practical Seva opportunities to help each other in different situations like job search, business referral, house search, finding loans officers, taxes help, legal help, health related help, matrimonial related, and many other types of help. Sadhak Seva means we should not only help motivating others for japa, but also help in other practical ways. Everyone who is a member of Japa conference must also help everyone else in a more practical sense. Presently, please share your name and number to our Everyday Chant Harinam Japa WhatsApp group or email to everydaychant@gmail.com. Thanks. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Nama Sarvevya Suswagatam Bhaktaganam Kripya Taunamevam Vasanagre Nama Vadatu.
हरे कृष्णा मम नाम हर्षिता अहम योगेन अग्रवसामि गुरु महाराज की जय प्रभुपाद की जय सकल devotees की जय।
Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai. Dhanyavad Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा मम नाम भट्टसाद नंदनगर गोस्वामी गुरु महाराज की जय प्रभुपाद की जय मैं हम संस्कार डिवोटेड की जय हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai. Dhanyavad Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा मम नमः शरणागता देवी दासी अहं क्लाणद नगरे वसामि श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय ऑल द डिवोटीज की जय
Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai. Dhanyavad Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण हरे माता जी सुमति माता जी समस्त गण भक्तगण मम नाम श्यामरसिका अहं जर्मन टाउन नगरे वसामि श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय।
हरे कृष्णा, गुरु महाराज की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय। धन्यवाद माता जी। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna Mataji, Mama Naam Haladar Das. I'm Streamwood Nagare Vasami. Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. My humble obeisance to all the devotees on the phone call. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा, गुरु महाराज की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय। धन्यवाद प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna Mataji, Madhava Pranam to you and all the devotees on the call. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा, गुरु महाराज की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय। धन्यवाद माता जी। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा। मम नाम विकास कुलकर्णी, टोरंटो नगरी वसामी। गुरु महाराज की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। My humble obeisances to all the devotees on the call. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा, गुरु महाराज की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय। धन्यवाद प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्णा। Hare Krishna. Would anybody else like to announce their names? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Today we are reading chapter 15, the Yoga of the Supreme, text number 16. Hare Krishna Mataji, please take over the call now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all the assembled devotee. So we will start our class with Mangalacharan prayer. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna devotees. So we are looking into three very important verses. It is says that like these three verses are sar, or they are like the concentrated meaning of all the three Vedas. Just like a Chatushloki, these three verses are also equally important. And what is in this Chatushloki, or even in Chatushloki Bhagavatam or Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, is knowledge about the Krishna. There is a complete knowledge about the Krishna. In Bhagavatam, it shows, it also gives you a hint about like how to approach him in a bhakti yoga way. So, Prayojan, everything is given in those three, Sambandha, Prayojan, and Abhideya is given in these three verses. So these three verses that we are studying currently, they are also very important verses, and they are giving the highest knowledge that is given in Vedas, very confidential part of the Vedas in very indirect way. But here it is indirectly, Krishna is explaining who he is. So we already cover all these three verses, but we are just discussing today because we didn't hear from the devotees. So we will hear more about these three verses from the devotees, what they understood. So let's just go over these three verses. So chapter 15, shloka number 16, 17th and 18th. And the 16th verse is talking about the two type of dvavimo purusho loke. So when it is saying that the loke, so Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baldev Vidyabhushan, and both this commentary I was going through, and it was talking about the different loke, means it is not just one loka, there are many lokes, and in that lokas, many different lokas, there are two type of purusha, or two type of, entities. It also says in Baldev Vidyabhushan's commentary that the meaning of the loke or loka is that by which truth is perceived. So thus the loka means Vedas. So in the Vedas there are two type of men, and they are that is what is given or explained by the Baldev Vidyabhushan. And in Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary also, there is a wonderful explanation of this verse. So let me just read some part of it for you. There are two type of conscious beings in this universe, the collective Jiva and Brahman. The collective Jiva are all these living entities, and the Brahman is fixed with one form from all the time, for all time. So here, like our dear Srila Prabhupada explains in purport very simply that like what are these two types. So one are Kshara, which are those who are fallible, which are not liberated, but the jivas, and the other are liberated jivas. They are not fallible. They are one with the Paramatma, or one with the Brahman. Sorry, not Paramatma, but the Brahman. But when we say that one with Brahman means, again it is said that like not in oneness in the sense that they are merged in physically merged in Brahman, but it is says that their consciousness is aligned with the Krishna's consciousness, or aligned with the Brahman's consciousness. So going through all these three commentary, we come to the conclusion that like, do two type of liberated and Baddha jivas, that is like jivas who are materially bound and they are like taking body again and again in this material world. These two type of jivas are there, and here Krishna is giving his Paramatma Brahman feature, and then after that he is saying that in the 17th one, that besides these two, there is a greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who has created the three worlds and is maintaining them. So here Krishna is talking about the Paramatma feature and all the three Purusha avatars. And we already talk about the Purusha avatars, that how these three features are Karnodakshay Vishnu. And then from Karnodakshay Vishnu, different Brahmandas are emanating. From that, there is Garbhodakshay Vishnu, who is entering into, expanding from the Karnodakshay Vishnu and entering into each and every Brahmanda. And then there is a Kshirodakshay Vishnu, who is as a Paramatma sitting in everyone's heart. So Krishna is talking about here all these Purusha avatars and the Paramatma feature of the Krishna. And then in the 18th verse, Krishna is saying that he's saying that because I am transcendental beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in this world and in the Vedas as a supreme person. So he is declaring here that whatever whoever all these jivas, that they are liberated jivas, there are Baddha jivas, and we are like impressed with the Baddha jiva, also looking at their opulences. Some are very famous, some are very beautiful, some are very intelligent. but they are still Baddha. Greater than them are the liberated souls, and who knows the Brahman, who knows the Brahman feature of the Krishna, who knows the Krishna himself also. And beyond that, there are these Purusha avatars are there, Krishna's these three Purusha avatars, like he's sitting in Paramatma in everyone's heart. And then there are many other Purusha avatars also who are coming to reclaim the jivas. And Krishna is saying that like I am beyond these all, or whoever you know, I am the best among them. I am beyond that all, and also beyond in the sense quality wise and quantity wise, I am above them all, and I am the Purusha Uttama, means I am the best among all of them. So these three verses establishes the supremacy of the Krishna, like in Krishna consciousness or like in this ISKCON. Wherever we go, like everyone questions us that like why you guys only worship Krishna, and there are so many questions all the time that we come across, that where it is written that he is a Purushottam. So if you are able to explain these three verses, then you will be able to establish the supremacy of Sri Krishna. So as we already went through all these three verses, I will just request Sumati Mataji to just read the translation of these three. And then devotees, you can share your, what you have heard so far. If there is anything you liked, your reflection, you can share it, or you can ask question on this verse. So Sumati Mataji, please read the translation of these three verses first, and then we will go over it.
Yes, Mataji. Text number 16. There are two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible. Text number 17. Besides these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them. Text number 18. Because I am transcendental, beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that Supreme Person. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Loki is mentioned in this particular verse. I was in also 16th also. Okay. There is just one small thing that I will add to these three verses, because while Mataji was reading that in 17th, Krishna is saying that besides these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who has entered the three world and is maintaining them. So here Krishna is using the third person and not saying directly that that's me. So this part also I explained last time, but just I'm just repeating and going over this concept again, that very nicely Chaitanya Charan Prabhu in his books that why this third person is used in many places. So Krishna says or call himself, or he's saying many places that he go and surrender unto him, or go and take shelter of him, or he is the greatest. Or here also he is saying that he is the greatest living personality. So why Krishna is not saying here directly to himself? So whom Krishna is here indicating? And that is the main reason that many people get confused while reading the Bhagavad Gita. And they think that Krishna is talking about some third person, means there is someone beyond Krishna. But here Chaitanya Charandas Prabhuji, he explains that it is not that there is anyone, Krishna is talking about someone different, but these features are inclusive in Krishna. So Paramatma feature is inclusive in Krishna. Then when Krishna is talking in the 17th verse, he's talking about the Paramatma feature here, the three Purusha avatars, they are inclusive in Krishna. When it is Krishna, everything is inclusive in him. When he talks about, in the 6th chapter, 7th chapter, 9th chapter, that like yogis take shelter, or like, dhyani, or like, gyanis are taking shelter. So we know that like gyanis are taking shelter of Krishna's Brahman feature. Yogis are taking shelter of Krishna's Paramatma features, and then there is a Bhakta who are taking Krishna's Bhagwan features. And Bhagwan feature is inclusive of Paramatma feature and as well as Brahman feature. But when Krishna has to indicate that, like, yogis are taking, or yogis are getting benefit from them, yogis are getting benefit, he want to exclusively talk about the Paramatma. He is saying the third person. He's calling the aspect of Krishna, uh, Paramatma aspect of Krishna as a third person. But when he says that, like, I am that, I am inclusive of all of that, that is what he's proving in this 3 verses. So I will take a pause here. Anybody's having any comment? Vikas Prabhu, you may start.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I have no comments based on what we discussed today. I just had a comment on our conversations at the last session. So from
Yes.
what I have read and what I understand, it's, the same topic is being discussed in some sense and is also elaborated by acharyas in some sense when they are speaking to students in primary class, students in secondary, in say college level, postgraduate level, and doctoral level. And we are somewhere in the school stage, and when we read something in the PhD stage or post PhD stage, we try to debate that, and that does not generally make much, there will be a time when our consciousness will evolve to that stage, but at this stage, the only thing the student should worry about is to pass the exam that is in front of us, which is how to avoid the next birth. Really, that should be the goal. So that's really how I think humbly for myself, because I'm thinking that our talking about things that are not in our realization is perhaps not the right thing. But at the same time, I do have a question. It's not like the question is not there. I'm hoping the answer will come, because when we say that certain jivas are nitya baddha, we have to understand that perhaps the word nitya baddha has some meaning behind it that we have not fully understood or was being spoken about in a different context. Otherwise, Prabhupada naming his monthly publication back to Godhead is not right. It means that we were never with the Godhead before, we would not be with the Godhead, or we will get to the Godhead, but we were never there in the first place, which is, otherwise, he would not have used the word back to. So that's one way to look at it. It's a simple way to look at things. The other is, the Lord has said in verse 7, Mame Vanshu Jiv Loke. So if we are part and parcels of the Lord, certain parts cannot be always in a poor way to say, condemned to be part of the material world and then given a chance to come to spiritual world. Whereas certain parts will always be in the spiritual world. That does not sort of make much sense, because there is no such thing where Krishna has said that you are always going to be like this. The other thing I look at is, in so many places it is said, and also because we are parts and parcels of Krishna, We know that the soul is supposed to be Sat, Chit, and Ananda. And ignorance of its own identity happens when it comes into the material world, and then it is further perpetuated because of its interactions with the material world. It is in Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto, second chapter. Sorry, uh, first canto, I think. Yeah, second chapter where Vyas Devi actually realizes Krishna, and he says that the jiva, which is superior to the material nature, gets entangled in the material nature because of the material modes. Uh, so that's another way to look at it, that it's a layer of ignorance that covers the soul, which is pure. And Prabhupada has actually explained the same thing in chapter 2 also in his purports, that the soul is pure, the soul is covered by ignorance. So if the soul is pure and it is conscious, and consciousness has no limit, uh, knowledge has limit, realization has limit, consciousness generally does not have limit, and therefore from that perspective also, if it is conscious and you're aware of everything, then you will automatically be aware that I'm not this body, that nobody is this body, that everybody is like me. You will realize the pandita, what is meant in the shlok that says, talks about pandita. So Samadarshina, you will happen to automatically become Samadarshina if you're conscious. You will also realize that so what is everything that is happening around us is controlled, that there is a controller, and that awareness, consciousness will also tell us that he is superior, and he is the controller. So we will automatically realize the Brahman, which is the stage at which you realize that you are the soul, that everybody is the soul, that as souls we are all are equal. Then the Paramatma feature, that he is there in everybody and he is driving everybody in this material world, and that as Purushottama, he is the controller. Even when we are not in material world, he is still the Purushottama. So that is how I understand the consciousness part of it. But this is based on reading. It is based on analysis of what I have read. It is not my realization, and I do understand that at some stage, hopefully, there will be realization. But at this time, I'm happy to keep the question parked in my mind and leave it, because at some time Krishna will give the knowledge. He will send somebody with the knowledge, and I'm happy to receive it at that time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Anybody else would like to talk about these verses? Because last time's discussion went into many different directions. It was not related to the, it was beyond that, these verses, as you said, that it was not for this class, it was not meant for this class. But we discussed later, and we references also were shared. So whatever statements made in the last class was also based on a book, and it was based on Jaiva Dharma book. So we read the paragraph through, and none of those statements were wrong, or none of those statements were incorrect. So there were also basis. It was not coming out of anyone's head or anything like that. But yeah, let's stick to these three verses. Anybody would like to comment on these?
Mataji, I have a little questions, if you don't mind if I ask it.
Yeah, please, Prabhuji.
In text number 16, the translation says, there are two classes of beings, the fallible and infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible. In the spiritual world, every living being is called infallible. My simple question is, when living entities in the spiritual world, what genders are they having? Are they in the different genders, different shapes? what gender they are in it. Because it says the Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi is not existing there, right? So what forms are they in? If you can explain me, I really appreciate.
I am also, Prabhuji, no, I will just ask this question. I mean, there is says that it is a varieties are there. Whatever we see in the Vrindavan Dham, I mean, all this variety that we see in this material world, that is all present in the spiritual world. In fact, material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. So same as what we see here, everything is there, the trees and plants and, all type of varieties, all type of people with a different consciousness. I mean, not sorry, with different nature, swabhav. So everything is present in the spiritual world. That is all I heard, but I don't have the references, so I don't want to comment on this one currently.
Because there it says that Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi is not. Gender system
Yes.
is on material world
Janma
existing because
Mrityu Jara Vyadhi is not related to gender system. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi is not there. And just like a Krishna, we understand that like he's there eternally. So like that, everyone is there eternally. So there is there is no like a birth of someone or like, there is no death of someone. So as Vikas Prabhu was saying that we haven't realized that because we can't conceive these concepts that there is no growth, there is no janma, there is no mrityu, then what do we do? I mean, what is it there? It says that there is no time also. So that is what is mentioned about the spiritual world.
so only the human beings could be in that part of the world, right? Is that true, or the animals could be there too as
No,
well?
there are animals, there are cow. I mean, Krishna's favorite Surabhi cow, and there are cows, and that is mentioned. Then there are peacocks and everything. So all the animals, birds are present there. There are also different, trees and plants and flowers. Because when we hear in the Prema Vivartan, that is a book that talks about the Krishna's pastime with uh, Radharani. So there are beautiful this Vrindavan, Vrindavan gardens and Upavanas and Vanas and everything is mentioned. So that means there is everything like, trees, plants, all this variety that we see here. In fact, ours is a reflection. So you can imagine that like everything is there, like because it's so original. So again, I don't want to come up with any. Is that
No,
okay, Prabhuji? Clear?
I don't blame anybody any answering. I just want to understand it, the real concept of it. It's it's not that whatever answer you give it to me, then I'm gonna hold you for that. No, not really. I just want to really, I really want to understand that they said the human form the best forms, and the human forms where you get the liberations. They have the
Oh,
understanding,
you are saying in that sense. Okay, okay, Prabhuji. Okay. Let me just okay. So first shloka is saying that whatever we see, it is a first shloka in this chapter. It proves that this material world is a reflection of a spiritual world. So whatever is there in the spiritual world, that same thing we see in this material world. So with our eyes, whatever we see, all this variety is there in the spiritual world. Now, about our human body, because we are a fallible or in this material world, this material body that we are having, it is a temporary. But this the form is there in the spiritual world. But this, whatever is a body made of this Pancha Mahabhuta, it is temporary. And all these animal species and everything, trees, everything is temporary. So we are going through so many bodies. I mean, 18 millions of body, and then we come to this body where we are in this human body. And that body, because it is very advanced in consciousness, because uh, trees are very have like very subtle consciousness. They don't uh, because there is so much of ignorance, there is so much of what we say, tamogun, that like trees and plants, they don't have that advanced consciousness that we see in other kind of animals. Then whatever is a consciousness is in animal, beyond that is a consciousness in human body. And that is why this importance is given to this human body. This is all statements is only for this material body that is given to us. It is more advanced machine. You say that like you are in a very bullock cart, and then you are in a very posh car. So there is a difference that like one will take you faster as compared to other. So you will have a kind of a consciousness that will help you go closer to the Krishna, or that will in this body only you can think about Krishna, and the question that who am I, why am I suffering, what is the happiness, all these questions that is asked by Sanatan Goswami and Vidura. These are all the questions that we can ask only when we are in this human body, because of our advanced consciousness. Because animal, they can't go and ask these kind of, at least that is what is scripture saying. So in that sense, human body is very useful and advanced, Prabhuji. But in material world, all these varieties are there, but there the animal are also equally conscious or Satchit Ananda, even if animal, because it's not an animal body, it is a form. It is like in that form is their material spiritual existence. So it conscious as a human, as a tree, as anything. So everyone is Satchit Ananda in spiritual world. So there is no different in consciousness. They all experience equally the happiness due to Krishna's presence. They all experience the spiritual bliss. So all these forms in the spiritual world are said to be Satchit Ananda Vigraha. And there is no difference in spiritual world that human beings are superior to trees or plants or any animals. They are equal in spiritual world, consciousness wise.
I understand what you're trying to say. They're in a spiritual consciousness. But are they in the gender forms or not? It'd be male or female forms or what? What do you
So we
think?
are
What would
seeing that like gopis and gopas are there, so that is the description given for so that there is a gender also.
okay.
There are elderly gopis like helping Yashoda Maya, and all these description they are giving or talking about. It's again the Vrindavan Dham 5,000 years back when Krishna appeared. But then our Acharya says that like that Vrindavan Dham and the leelas that Krishna perform, it is not mundane. They are all spiritual only. It is all coming from spiritual world. So it is as it is coming from the spiritual world. So what we see or whatever leela we hear about the Vrindavan Dham, those are there in the Golok Vrindavans in the spiritual world also. It's a reflection, or it is like again not reflection, but it is exactly that same thing that we see here about this Vrindavan Dham on the earth. It is same as Vrindavan Dham in spiritual world.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you. Any comment, Shamarasika Mataji, on these three verses? I mean, go through these verses and Rupini Mataji, Shamarasika Mataji, Sumati Mataji. Okay,
Hare
if you
Krishna.
don't,
Just wanted to thank you for giving us knowledge here and educating us. I don't join regularly, but just Shamarasika Mataji encouraged me. So it's so nice that devotees are having questions, and I didn't join the previous verses. I didn't hear, so I'm in hearing mode right now. But thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Radha Prabhuji. My Dharat Pranam to you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. So nice to hear from you.
Nice
And
to have your darshan, Mataji. Very nice. I see your picture.
my darshan is not important. Prabhuji, I came to this call, I wanted to tell you that please join chanting on the conference call whenever possible.
Yeah, I chant different timings. But I have to change. Everybody's calling me, so I probably have to start 3:00 because my gym time and other times is getting in between. So I should
Okay.
listen to you, Mataji. Yeah, I love to join. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Welcome, Mataji, and hope to see you every Sunday.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Any comment from you, Shamarasika Mataji? Or else we will go to the next two verses. So before that, let me just read a paragraph. That's what I'm thinking, that from a book, and we don't want to discuss and come up with again and again the last class discussion. But let's hear what Jaiva Dharma and Bhakti Vinod Thakur's commentary says. He says that innumerable jivas appear from Sri Baldev to serve Vrindavan Vihar, Sri Krishna as his eternal associate in Golok Vrindavan. And other appears from Sri Sankarshan to serve Lord Vaikunthanath, Sri Narayana in spiritual sky, eternally relishing rasas, engaged in the service of their worshipable Lord. They always remain fixed in their constitutional position. They always strive to please Bhagwan and are always attentive to him. Having attained the strength of Chit Shakti, they are always strong. They have no connection with the material energy. In fact, they do not know if there is a bewildering energy called as a Maya or not. Since they reside in the spiritual world, Maya is way far away from them and does not affect them at all. Always absorbed in the bliss of serving their worshipable Lord, they are eternally liberated and are free from material happiness and distress. Their life is love alone, and they are not even conscious of the miseries, death, or fear. So, this is a beautiful description of all the jivas in the spiritual sky who are coming from the Lord Sankarshan. That's what was we discussing last time. Now the third paragraph says that there are also innumerable atomic conscious jiva who emanates as a ray in Karnodakshai Mahavishnu's glance upon his Maya Shakti. Since these jivas are situated next to Maya, they perceive her wonderful workings. Although they have all the qualities of a jivas that I have already described, because of their minute and marginal nature, they sometimes look to the spiritual world and sometimes to the material world. In this marginal condition, the jiva is very weak because at that time he has not attained spiritual strength from the mercy of the object of his worshipable Seva Vishnu, uh, or Shesha Vishnu, sorry. And among these ultimate jivas, those who want to enjoy Maya become engrossed in the mundane sense gratification and enter the state of Ditya Baddha. On the other hand, the jivas who perform Chid Anushilanam or Chid Anushilanam of Bhagwan receive spiritual Shakti, which is a Chid Bala, by his mercy and enter the spiritual world. So there are some of these statements that is what clarified the Ravi Prabhuji, but we did that phone call separately, not in this class, so that's why I'm just reading it for all of you. Okay, so we have only two verses left, and after that we will do the reading of the 15th chapter. So let's go to this verse number 19th. Prabhuji, would you like to read this 19th verse?
Yes, Mataji. Yes. Dhanyavad, Mataji.
Yes.
Yo mamevam asammudo janati purushottamam sasarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. Yo mameva asammudo janati purushottamam sasarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. Right, please. Oh, you want me to do both of them, Mataji?
No, that's fine, Prabhuji. It's already 8. Let's see how much we can cover. Yo mamev asammudho janati purushottamam sasarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. Hari bol.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sumati's leading. Yomamevam samudho janati purushottamam sarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. Hare Krishna.
Harshita speaking. Yo mamevam asamudho janati purushottamam sasarva vidbhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Har Prasad Re. Yo mamev sammudho janati purushottam sa sarva vidyajati ma sarva bhavena bharata. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yo mam eva masamudho janati purushottamam sa sarvavidha jati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yo mamev asammudho janati purushottamam sasarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. Hare Krishna.
Anybody? Rukmini Mataji, would you like to read this verse? Okay. Let's do word to word meaning of this verse. Ya means yo or ya means anyone who. Mam, me, evam, thus. Asammudho. Asammudhoho means without a doubt. Janati knows. Purusha Uttamam, the Supreme Personality of a Godhead. Saha, he, Sarvavit, the knower of everything. Bhajati, renders devotional service. Mam, unto me. Sarva Bhavena, in all respect. Bharata, O son of Bharata. So, whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of a Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. So, previous 3 verses talks about the Krishna. As we said that like once his supremacy is established, who Krishna is, he is a Purushottam. Krishna says that whoever understands that I am a Purushottam, I am a, Uttam, then all types of living beings, all type of Purusha avatars, all type of Vishnu avatars, then I am a Purushottam, whoever understands that, and then he bhajati, or he worships me, and that is what is given here, and how it is in devotional service. So it is in love and devotion, he engages in the worship of me. So, Sumati Mataji, please read the first paragraph of the purport. We will go one by one.
Yes, Mataji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There are many philosophical speculations about the constitutional position of the living entities and the supreme absolute truth. Now, in this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead clearly explains that anyone who knows Lord Krishna to be the Supreme Person is actually the knower of everything. The imperfect knower goes on simply speculating about the absolute truth, but the perfect knower, without wasting his valuable time, engages directly in Krishna consciousness the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Throughout the whole of Bhagavad Gita, this fact is being stressed at every step. And still, there are so many stubborn commentators on Bhagavad Gita who consider the supreme absolute truth and the living entities to be one and the same. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So here Prabhupada is explaining that there are people who write commentary on the Bhagavad Gita saying that, like, Krishna, when he is saying that, like, there is someone surrender unto him, there is something. So that time they are explaining that it is a Brahman which is beyond the God. So they are every time you hear the commentary of the impersonalist, they think that Brahman is superior to even the Bhagwan feature of the Krishna. Krishna is also, like he also appeared here, or the Brahman had taken this form like a human being, and that is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita shloka also. And Krishna says that that's why my janma and karma is very bewildering. But then whoever understands that, he will never come back to this world again, or he will engage in the devotional service, and even if he is in this material world, he will be liberated. So that is the perfectly here explained in this purport by Prabhupada, that how different commentaries are there, and they are just a mental speculation, and they are like very sometimes people don't even want to know the truth. They are very happy to understand that, like, I am also God and I will become one day God, because that satisfies their ego. They don't want to know that, like, we are a servant of the Krishna, because that is something really shakes them, and they said that, like, we don't want to be servant of the Krishna. So sometimes truth really shakes people, because it is not satisfying their ahankar, because our ahankar in this material body always says that I am an enjoyer, I am also Purusha. But the moment we understand that we are there, we are controlled by someone, and also we are uh, object of enjoyable, I mean, by Krishna. We are there to serve him. So all these things are sometimes very difficult to digest and accept. So this is very important that we read the Bhagavad Gita as it is and understand it from the Mahajan, so that we will know the truth, and we will also have a strength or a chid bala to accept the truth, and then engage ourselves in devotional service, so that, like, you can definitely realize this knowledge one day. So realization come only when you engage in the devotional service. Even if you read thousands of books, even if you hear thousands of lectures, still the realization will not come unless and until Krishna will shower his mercy upon you. And there is no reason for Krishna to shower a mercy upon anyone. It's not, it's a hetuki, but still it is says that Shastra says that you attract that mercy by doing the devotional service or engaging into the devotional service. Okay, let's go to the next paragraph, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Vedic knowledge is called Shruti, learning by oral reception. One should actually receive the Vedic message from authorities like Krishna and his representatives. Here, Krishna distinguishes everything very nicely, and one should hear from the source. Simply to hear like the hogs is not sufficient. One must be able to understand from the authorities. It is not that one should simply speculate academically. One should submissively hear from Bhagavad Gita that these living entities are always subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who is able to understand this according to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, knows the purpose of the Vedas. No one else knows the purpose of the Vedas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Mataji. So again, it is said that, like, very carefully we should hear from the authorities about Sri Krishna. And if you are really attentively and carefully hearing, then only this knowledge will, one day you will understand, and then you will realize it. And here Prabhupada saying that, like, do not hear like a hawks and, dogs. Like sometimes we see that, like, people are coming to the lectures, many lectures they hear, but they are not at all attentive, and like then it's just a few words that they are hearing from here and there, and then their knowledge is incomplete, and it's very dangerous to hear from them also. So you have to just follow the acharya, like literally read from, like, acharya, whatever is the
Hare muted.
Hare Krishna. So sorry, my laptop died, so I switched on to my phone. So that is what this second paragraph is talking about, how to hear. Like Arjuna heard it very carefully from the Krishna, or we say that like Parikshit Maharaj very heard carefully from the Shukdev Goswami. So all these, I mean, it's Bhagavatam. I mean, it's not just about our scriptures are not just about this knowledge that what they spoke, but also we have to understand or learn from their behavior also, that how they were respecting each other, how they were listening carefully. So these are all the things or all the lessons for all of us. So here in that mood, that is a that only that way you will understand the purpose of the Vedas. Okay, last paragraph, and then we will conclude here. Mataji, please go ahead. Sumati Mataji, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. The word bhajati is very significant. In many places, the word bhajati is expressed in relationship with the service of the Supreme Lord. If a person is engaged in full Krishna consciousness in the devotional service of the Lord, it is to be understood that he has understood all Vedic knowledge. In the Vaishnava Parampara, it is said that if one is engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, then there is no need for any other spiritual process for understanding the supreme absolute truth. He has already come to the point because he is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. He has ended all preliminary processes of understanding. But if anyone, after speculating for hundreds of thousands of lives, does not come to the point that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that one has to surrender there, all his speculation for so many years and lives is a useless waste of time. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very wonderful statements, this last two, three.
Beautiful. Yes, I
Yeah.
loved it.
So if you, after listening thousands of time Bhagavad Gita and after speculating a lot, if you don't come to a point of bhajati, you don't surrender to Krishna and do not accept him as a supreme personality or whatever he had doing in our lives and controlling our lives the way he wants to is the right way. He knows the best for me. If you don't come to that conclusion, then that is like all the waste of time. So years of years studying this Bhagavad Gita is like, all gone. It just, mental speculation, or we can say that um, it is a waste of time and not utilizing it in properly. So bhajati is a very, very significant, as Prabhupada is saying, that bhajati is expression or is expressed in relationship with the service to the Supreme Personality of a Lord. So we have to always engage in the service of the Lord. Now, how should be that service? That is also guided by so many different acharyas in a different way, and you can pick up any of that which aligns to your uh, qualification, which aligns to your adhikar, which aligns to your uh, you know uh, your qualities also, and that way you can choose that service and engage yourself in the service of the Krishna. So uh, this is also very nice that uh, he has already come to the point because he is engaged in the devotional service of the Krishna. So that is statement, and before that, that is a very nice statement. We will go over that.
In the Vaishnav Parampara, it is said that if one is engaged in the devotional service of a Krishna, then there is no need for any other spiritual processes for understanding the supreme absolute truth. He has already come to the point because he is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. He has ended all preliminary processes of understanding. But if anyone, after speculating for hundreds and thousands of the life, does not come to the point that Krishna is the supreme personality of a Godhead, that one has to surrender there. All his speculation for many years and lives is a useless waste of time. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Anything, Prabhuji, you want to comment on it?
One thing I want to understand, just the general questions of it, maybe my childish questions that
No.
where does this doubts born, with all this knowledge, all the human forms are there, the superior forms of human bodies, soul receiving, and where does this doubts are manufactured, in our body, and why it's manufactured? It's a general question if you want to answer it. Thank you,
Because
Mata.
we are not always in a Sattva Guna, Prabhuji, because Sattva Gun will lead us to the Shuddha, knowledge, or the, proper knowledge. So, because we are not always in a Sattva Guna, we are in a Rajo and Tamo Guna, and that is what is hiding this knowledge. So, that is showing us this knowledge differently. Even if that knowledge is right in front of you, it is showing us differently. So, if you have heard the story that, growing up, I heard many times that there are four people and they are blindfolded and they are asked to go and judge one object. So one goes and he touches one part and he says that it is a tree. The other goes, he says that it is something else. The third one says that it is a snake, and the fourth one says that, no, it is a big rock or something like that. And when they all four are arguing, and in one sense all four are right, because whatever they are feeling, they are seeing, or whatever is what they felt, they understood. So how knowledge comes to us? Because one, with the senses, five senses we use to kind of get it, perceive it, and then it is processed, and then we get the understanding from that. Sometimes we are hearing, sometimes we are listening, we are touching, and that way we are trying to get this knowledge, because all these five senses, their main purpose is to receive knowledge from outside world, and then mind will process it, and then it will create a picture that, this is what it is. And then we became, firm on that. We asked few more people and about their opinion, and then that firms our knowledge, and then there is no doubt about, what I'm saying is right. But that can be again wrong, because that is again your perspective and that few people's perspective. So, like that, I was saying that story, when they unfold themselves, they see a big elephant sitting there. So one person who was standing next to the big legs of that elephant, he thinks that it is the trunk of a tree. Someone who is touching the tail of that elephant, he thinks that it is a snake. Someone who is touching the his body part, he's saying that it's a big rock. So whatever they were feeling, that, they thought like it is, this is that object, and they created that image in their mind. So this folding means what? That they blindfolding means what is the the two gunas that is blindfolding us, which is tamogun and rajogun, which is misinterpreting, which is so sometimes there is uh, a little bit of a selfish motive also, that, we interpret the things in that way because we want to believe what that is a fact. So there are different way we can say that this doubt is creating, but ultimately it is says that the maya, and maya means nothing but these three modes, and Krishna's energy, which is very very strong, that is creating this doubt.
to what you're saying, insufficient knowledge, right? Is that what you're saying, ma'am?
Yeah, I mean, like, why doubt is coming even if knowledge is there, because we are not trying to interpret it, because we are not in a properly situated, Prabhuji. So because
Good.
we are not properly situated, we are interpreting it in wrong way.
But this comes from the mind, right? Not from the
Yes.
heart.
Yes, it comes from the mind.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mata.
Thank you. Anything else? Any last comment? Okay, so we will stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam
Bhavane.
Vaishnav
Vaishnava.
Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrunda ki jai, Namacharya
Jai.
Das Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srimad
Jai.
ki jai. Hari Hari Bol, Hari
Hari
Krishna.
Bol. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Bol.
Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat
Thank
pranam.
you, Mataji, so much. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.